Hi, I'm Jim McLean. Welcome to the Drill System for Better Golf. I'm here in the PGA of America's Historical Center. This building is devoted to the game's best players and also its best teachers. And you know what? Some of golf's greatest innovations are the drills we use to teach the game. I use drills in my teaching every single day. And here I'm going to show you my favorite drills for improving your short game. Drills are huge because they teach positions and feel. If you do a drill correctly, you learn the correct position. And if you do it enough, you develop the feel. Best of all, with drills, you can practice on your own. You become your own coach. A bit of advice. I'm fanatical about doing the drills right. I often see amateurs practice a simple drill the wrong way. Not only is this a waste of time, it also ingrains the wrong action. In this program, I'll offer you a system for using short game drills, from pitching to sand play to putting. Step 1, choose the right drill for you. Step 2, learn it right so you can do it right. That's why I'm here. So let's get going. When I see a good player with a low handicap who also hits the ball a short distance, I know for sure one thing. This guy can really pitch his golf ball. That's how he saves strokes. That's how he keeps his score low. So pitching is an area that is so important to scoring. Now a pitch shot is hit from about 10 to 30 yards off the green. It's a shot that will allow you, again, to save pars, or if you get near a par 5, to make some birdies. Obviously, the tour players are great at this shot. They are tremendous scorers. At Doral, during our PGA Tour event, I love to watch Phil Mickelson. He shot as low as 23 under at Doral, and you don't do that without a great short game. We all know he pitches the ball great, but I actually like to watch him, and he'll pitch for an hour or 2 hours at a time. So I've had a lot of chance to watch him, and you watch his rhythm and his technique. Ernie Els is another great player to watch pitch the golf ball because he's so smooth and has such great rhythm. Now, when we talk about pitching the ball well, we're talking about distance control, or what people call feel. Now, you're not necessarily born with feel. So you get feel by having good distance control, and you learn distance control through better technique. That's what we're going to do with the drills coming up. So when we go to the drills, I'm going to show you different ways to develop feel and touch. On pitch shots, you derive a lot of your control from your left side, left hand, left arm. So a great drill is the left arm only drill, where we actually hit shots with just the left arm. And you will do well to do just some practice swings at first. It's very unusual to see somebody swing through and just do this because it's so hard on your arm. It feels bad. So what I want you to do is let your body get a little of the lead, and as you come through, you'll feel the club trailing or dragging. Very easy to feel when you do it just with your left arm. So the club stays back, and as you come in, the lead hand is forward. Very unusual to see somebody do this. It'll feel terrible if you flip the club. It's not going to really happen. You won't be able to hit the ball. So it's this little move right here. Now, John Daly does this drill before every round of golf he plays. He might do 10 minutes of small shots and even a little bit longer shots with his left arm only. Now, he does that to gain good tempo and good control. It's a great way for him to start his practice session. So we get this little feel right there, and then you can actually hit some golf balls. Terrific little drill for feeling the pace of the golf swing. I've seen some of the biggest turnarounds in pitching with this drill right here, the right arm only drill. And I think it's so great because most people are afraid to use their right hand. They think it's all left. Now, admittedly, the left arm has its role as the lead arm, and it helps for tempo. But if you're a right-handed person, using your right side effectively is the easiest thing in the world to do. This drill is easier for most right-handers by far than the left arm only drill. So here we're using our little pitch swing, and it's a natural little move. Now you make sure that you don't just freeze your body down to the ground. Don't be afraid to let your body pivot with the swing, and just allow the club to go. This little drill right here, once you get the feel, you'll hit some wonderful little shots. I'll start off hitting a couple here for you. You can start at that shorter range. That was about a 10-yard shot. It's a little bit further. Then I'll stretch it out a little bit longer. But the right arm, right hand only drill is a natural little swing action. It will help you set the club correctly without having to think about it, and you'll get a nice little feel here of timing the club and your knees right through to the finish. Great drill. Try it for your pitching. This is called the circle drill, but it might be called the confidence drill, because if you can land consistently in your circle that you draw mentally in your mind, you're going to be so far ahead of the ball game when you pitch or chip around the green. Now, we're hitting a fairly long pitch shot here, probably about 35 yards to the pin. And we've got a circle drawn at the base of the hill. And the reason I did that is because I want my ball to hit into the hill, bounce up and check somewhere near the pin. To fly a sand wedge up on that little shelf right there would be much more difficult to do. So you always draw your circle into the safest area, and that's where you try to land the golf ball. So pitching becomes good imagery to where you want to go. You need to practice some, of course, to know that you can hit it about that distance. So again, imagery, see where you want the ball to land. Make it in the easiest spot on the green that will allow the ball to get near the pin. So I'll give one a try here. Into the circle and running up that hill. So if you can land your ball in your area, and then for this shot, it's a pretty big area. When I get closer up, I'll shrink the circle down. But practice some way of drawing a circle or an area on the green that you're trying to land the golf ball, and you'll improve your pitching tremendously. The lob shot drill. Actually, I'm going to hit a lob shot here to demonstrate the drill. Now, the situation I have here is my ball is really sitting down in tough Bermuda grass. I'm going downhill to the pin, and I've got a lake over the green. Very scary shot for anybody. Now, this is a shot that an amateur would probably never even attempt to play, or if they did attempt to play, it would not work because the technique's so poor. I'm going to show you the correct way to hit this shot where you have a good chance of pulling it off. Now, there's some suspense when we have a ball sitting down that bad because nobody really knows exactly how it's going to come off, not even a tour player. But with the correct technique, you've got a reasonable chance. Let's start with the right technique. Open the club face first. Now when you do that, open the club face, then put your grip on. Don't just start with your normal grip and open the face, because that will give you a strong grip. The next thing you do is grip down on the club. Both of these things allow you to swing faster and not have the ball go too far. Now in swing, what I'm going to do here is set the club quicker. I'm really going to stand that golf club up and narrow to my body. What I do not want to have is width and a wide, long takeaway because I can't use the weight of the golf club, and I'm going to get too much grass between the club face and the golf ball. So narrow up here on the backswing. Now I've got an open club face, I've gripped down fairly wide with my stance, and then going through, I'm also going to be quite narrow going through. That's the trick to this golf shot. Stand that club up, stand it up again on the way through, be narrow. I'm going to play it somewhat like a bunker shot, put the club down in the grass, open the face, and then really, you can make a couple little practice swings there as you're using this little drill. The drill would be to set that club right there and then really let that club go. A lot of trust in this swing. And that will allow you to hit a pretty good little shot. Now, I really had to dig it out of there that time, but I kept it on the green, not too bad from a really bad lie. And it's also a shot you can use off better lies going to really tight pins over bunkers. Terrific little shot. Give it some practice and trust it. Before I get into the specifics of chipping technique, I want to dispel a huge myth, and that is the idea of no risk. And what I see is a robotic type of action, and that's somebody who goes like this. They move the grip into the club way too far, try to keep their body steady, and you see this taught actually quite a bit, and it's a major mistake. I've never seen a good chipper ever chip like that. The only exception would be if you're on the edge of the green going downhill super fast, then you might be in close and make a no-wrist chip to hit the ball maybe this far and let it roll to the green. But let's go to correct chipping technique, and that involves having the right grip and also a little bending back of the right wrist in the backstroke. So to set up correctly, we can't have a real strong grip which promotes too much release. I'd rather have you put your grip on much more like a putting grip with your top hand, for me, my left hand. So the left hand goes on like this, thumb pretty much down the center of the shaft. Then I'm not going to worry too much about the club face turning over. I've kind of eliminated that before I start. Also with chipping, we use all different clubs. For this particular shot, I'm going to hit an 8-iron, a very common club to chip with. Now, setup is open to the target with my body, so I have good vision. Ball placed about in the center. I don't like to see the ball too far back where you have a lot of angle on the club. Again, it's not something that I see with a good chipper. So it's just a moderately centered, slightly open to my target, grip slightly forward. This way with the left hand. Now, here's the big thing with chipping for me, and that is on the backstroke, the club must elevate. And to do that, there's a slight gentle bending of the wrist going back. That gets the club airborne, and that allows me to hit on a descending blow with a pinching or squeezing action that allows me to be consistent and to get good ball contact time after time after time. When I see that grip going too far, I know we've got problems. Here's a little idea you can get in your head, and that is to hit my shoe here. If the butt end of the club back end here does not move, I'm going to hit my shoe every time. No misses, ever. When this starts to go back, I could hit anywhere along the line, and that's what happens to too many amateur golfers. So to chip this ball correctly, I'm going to hit one right now. I'm going to use my little technique. You'll notice that there's a little turn in my body. I'm not freezing my body. There's a little bit of turn going through. There's a hold going through, but it's not this sort of action. So let me just chip one. Now the second part of being a good chipper is being able to read the situation. And by reading the situation, I mean several things. One, reading all these different lies and picking the right club. So picking the right club, what does that mean? I'm asked that all the time. Well, picking the right club to me is getting something to land 2 or 3 yards onto the green, safely onto the green. We're not trying to land too close where we might hit the fringe, but a little more safety zone and into a flat spot, and then run the ball the rest of the distance. So the answer really is choose a club that gets the ball on the ground quickly and runs the rest of the distance. It's very simple. We're trying to get it to an area that's close to us so we can be more consistent and then let the ball roll to the target. Okay, now let's go to some drills that are going to really give you the idea of how to chip better, how to figure out where the ball should land, and really improve your chipping game, which will absolutely lower your golf scores. The worst mistake you can make in chipping is breaking the left wrist down. And the reason people do that is they're trying to help the ball into the air. It's called scooping. It's one of the oldest problems that we see in golf. And in chipping, it's an absolute killer. The ball could go anywhere. You're going to add tremendous speed when you do this. You can hit behind it, chunk it, or scull the ball going through. So we need to eliminate that. And to do that, we use what we call the pencil drill. You simply take a pencil, slip it under your watch band, and let it go on the back of your left wrist, just like this. And then when you chip, you put your hand in there and you just keep that nice pencil idea right there. We're not going to break down. So this is the idea. Now, a big key to this drill is not breaking the pencil. If you do that, you know you've really scooped it bad, although it's pretty tough to break this pencil. So you get this idea of a solid left wrist through impact, not scooping, flipping. So when that right wrist might cock back a little bit, you might get a little space there. Just keep that space as you go through. So you can chip balls doing this. Terrific little drill, easy to do, costs you nothing. This is called the shaft resistance drill, and I'm going to use Zach here to help me. You need a partner for this drill. It's a drill that I learned over at Wingfoot from Claude Harmon, Butch Harmon's father, who was a tremendous player and a tremendous teacher, and one of the greatest short game teachers I've ever seen. And what he would do is walk in and put the club down just about 6 inches in front of the golf ball on an angle, just like this, where when the person hits, they're going to hit the shaft and resist. So there's no way to have a long finish. Most people tend to finish too high, they're moving their body too much. This drill makes you stay down because I'm going to hit that shaft. The other thing you could do is take an old shaft and stick it in the ground and practice on your own. But it's a good one to have somebody help you with. So the idea here is to put that shaft in the correct spot. You hit and you run into that shaft. And now you can see that I've held that club face dead square to my target, and I've made great contact. So it's a contact drill, and it will help you feel resistance at the end of your shot. And I'll promise you, this is a tremendous drill that can help anybody chip better. This is called the tension reliever drill, simply because it automatically relieves tension. It's a drill you probably haven't seen, but for anyone who has stood over the golf ball too long, tried too hard on a chip, grind it out, tried to be too perfect, and then hit one of the worst chips of your life, you understand what I mean. We've actually all been there. Tension kills the shot in chipping. So this drill gets you moving, and you chip one ball after another. If you've seen a kid pick up the range or kids practicing just around the green, they do it pretty quick. They just chip a ball, get to another one, chip it, hit another one, chip it, get to another one. Not too much thinking. Now, when you move down the line, you'll see that you'll use a little bit of wrist brake on your swing. There's no way you're going to go through this line like this. Nobody would do that. But I want you to have a nice little swing, but you'll still have a little resistance here at the finish. But we're just going to hit shots. You can lay out 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 balls and just go through. If I happen to miss one of these, I just keep going. So it goes like this. I just step up and hit, hit, hit. Just keep right on going. I'm not really caring too much where those balls go, but I start to get great contact and I start to get a little confidence. I have some motion. You know, I don't think you can find a better drill to relieve tension and to make chipping more simple. I believe this is my most favorite drill right here. It's called the trough drill. I've used this drill forever and I've had great success with it. There are so many things you can learn with this drill, and I'd like to go through most of them with you right now. Number one, we're trying to hit this ball straight through between the two clubs that are on the ground, and they're fairly close here on the ground. The first thing I can do with a student is have them line up over the inside club, and now I can see if that club face is dead square. I can also visualize very easy my stroke where I'm coming right back to here and then stopping my club right out in the front, so I can make some practice swings over the inside club. Most people have a problem here with their backswing where they take it too much to the inside, they lift to the outside. With the trough on the ground, you can see it so easy. You can see that arc so easy. We're not going to try to lift. For sure, we're going to try to avoid swings that go across or out. So a big key here, and something you must do with the trough drill, is hold your finish. And when I hold my finish, it's going to be right in the trough. Not across, not out, and certainly not up. So, got my trough drill, I get set up, and I chip the ball. And I hold. Now when I hold, I'm going to check to see where that club is. So you can hold this for several seconds and make sure that it's done correctly. You can do this from various lengths. At first, when you first chip it, you might chip this ball just right to here with a little baby swing and see if you can make a swing this big that's good. You do this drill right here for chipping, and I absolutely am sure that you will get better at your chipping. This is called the dish towel drill, and it's a drill to help you get better distance control. If you tend to chip the ball well, good contact, but you're often short or long, this is a terrific drill for you to try. And what we do here is we put some towels out onto the green, and you separate them by 3, 4, 5 yards, and you practice landing onto each towel or into an area close to each towel. So I've established my towels out here, and I'm going to try to chip to those areas and then really see how far the ball goes. Okay. That was the towel number 1, towel number 2, and then towel number 3. There we go. And then see how far the ball rolls out. Now, you have to translate the effort level into how far that ball is going in the air. Then it will roll out. So what we're practicing here is our air time, landing the ball in the correct spot on the green. And this is going to help your accuracy and especially your distance control. You know, I'm standing in one of the scariest places on the golf course for the average golfer. It's called the sand bunker, and it doesn't have to be that scary. This is an area where I can help you very fast. It's an area where if you have the correct technique, you'll get out of the bunker much easier than you think. Now, one thing to remember is you need a good sand wedge, and a good sand wedge has bounce. That's an angle from the back end of the club to the front that creates a rudder-like effect. And what this allows you to do is swing down into the sand and not have the club dig. What will happen is the club will enter the sand behind the golf ball, go under the golf ball, and the ball will come out on a cushion of sand. So really, this is the only shot in golf where you don't hit the ball and there's some margin for error. I'm going to give you some drills that you can go through. One of these drills is going to help you a lot, and it's going to make this shot so much easier you won't believe it. The slap shot drill teaches you many things. One is to use your right arm and right hand to get extension and to shallow out your golf swing. And another is to hear the thump or the thud that the club makes when it hits the sand. Now that happens because you have a free release and you almost throw the club into the sand. Now a key to doing this drill correctly is to draw 2 lines in the sand. And I like to draw them about the width of a footprint. So it's about a 10-inch area here. It's a big area. The idea here that I use with people in the slap shot drill is to take the club up and drop it and get that sand to move. And you'll hear that thud noise. And you do that a number of times until I can see that they can hit anywhere actually in the 10-inch area. Now if you hit behind it or out in front of it, we've got to continue practicing. At first, this can be a slightly difficult proposition for you until you get the feel of swinging with one arm. So it's up, drop it, and you hear that nice thud. Then you go up to a golf ball, remembering that you can hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches behind the ball, and the ball's going to come out. With this good technique, take it up, drop it, and that ball will come out nicely. It'll surprise you. Great drill, the slap shot drill, for hearing the thud and getting speed and shallowing out your golf swing. I love teaching golf by using images, and one image you can use in the sand bunker is that of erasing a footprint. And what I mean by that is you just make a footprint out toward your target and you practice erasing that footprint. By that I mean the club will enter somewhere near the heel, somewhere here, and come out somewhere out at the toe. It'll make a long furrow of sand. You'll take this area out when you swing, and you'll see the sand come flying out of the bunker. So now I took a long divot right here, and that's what you want to see. It's so commonplace to see a poor bunker player either miss the sand when they go through and scull the ball, or stick the club in the sand, take a little hole actually in the sand. So when you go in the bunker next time, do this a few times when you practice to get the idea of taking an area of sand out. Now the golf ball is going to be somewhere in the middle of the furrow, and that gives you quite a huge margin for error. So you take that area out. In other words, erase the footprint, and that will give you a large margin of error and make it easy for you to make a nice aggressive golf swing. Give it a try. The short bunker shot is one of the most difficult shots that I have to teach at our golf schools. And it's because people have no idea how to stop the ball and make it go a short distance without quitting on it. Now here's a way to hit a bunker shot the correct way by slowing down your release or holding off your release. And what you do here is, I'll pack a little sand on the club face, take a quarter out and put it right on the club face. Now when I go through the golf shot, I want to visualize that I keep that quarter on the club face right there. So this is huge importance. What most people do is they release the club going through, which develops speed. Or, as I said before, they'll actually stop and quit. What you're going to do on this shot is to go through and finish, hold that imaginary quarter right on the club face. When you do that, the ball's not going to come out very far. So we get in the bunker, hold our finish right there. It's going to go a short distance. And you'll hit the softest, nice little bunker shots. You can't believe how good they'll be. Hold that quarter every time. Don't forget that image. When your ball buries in a greenside bunker, you have to completely change your technique. Before, we were trying to use the bounce or the rudder on the back of your sand wedge. Now in a buried bunker shot, you have to do just the opposite. You have to go deep, dig. So we change our setup position and the angle of the club face at address. Instead of back and open, we're going to put our hands forward and even close the club face so that we create a digging action. When we close the club face and put our hands more forward, it will tend to make the club go into the ground and even stop. That's okay for a buried bunker shot. In fact, that's the technique we want. Now, I've put a couple of stakes in the sand here along with a rope going across as an image for you to use. Now this is something I watched Gary Player do in a clinic, and it's a terrific idea. What we want to do is swing through and not swing up or lift or hit this rope. We're actually trying to stay down. When I hit through, I'm trying to keep my finish down low, the opposite of your normal bunker shot. So again, technique, hands ahead, firm the hands up. I've got that ball buried pretty good right there. I turn the face in. I'm going to drive down. Now the ball is going to run into the front part of that buried lie, and that will get it up in the air. It won't have much spin on it when it hits the ground, so you have to allow for a little more roll. But again, down, you're going to enter the sand about 2 inches behind the golf ball and dig. And that's what allows that ball to come out where you can hit a very nice little shot. Remember, it's going to have a little bit more roll when it hits the green, but this is the technique and this is the image. I do a tremendous amount of bunker clinics, and I'm always asked, inevitably, to go to the downhill bunker shot. Now, we've hit all the other shots, but people always want to know, well, what happens when I'm on a steep back end of the bunker? So now we've gone to the hardest shot just about in golf. This shot is really tough, and you have to have good setup technique, and then you have to have the right idea to hit it, and most people don't. So let's go through what you have to do on the severe downhill lie. Number one, we've got to get the ball back in our stance. That's absolutely crucial. The reason is because we've got this bank of sand behind us. It's going to be very easy to touch the sand on your backswing, which is a two-stroke penalty. So we can't have that happen. So ball back. Number two, you've got to get this club elevated quickly. Any low backswing will hit the sand, or if you get the club low coming down, you're going to hit way too far behind the golf ball and it won't come out. The next thing I see that goes wrong is people put the hands too far forward, or actually they keep their hands in the normal position, just off the inside part of your left thigh. Okay, on this shot you don't do that. We're going to jack those hands way back. In fact, it's going to feel very uncomfortable, almost off my right thigh. Now that's going to allow me to keep loft on the club, this angle. When I lean the shaft forward, it takes the loft off. Now we've already got a downhill lie that's going to make it go low anyway. Plus, we take the loft off, we've got no chance. So this is a shot that we're trying to hit on the green is great. This is not one that we're trying, well, we'd love to hit it close, but like I said, on the green would be thrilled. So get into our setup. We get it down the hill with our weight, ball back, hands back. I'm going to really set that golf club, cock it up the hill, drop it behind the golf ball, and then work the face a little bit under again to keep some loft on this golf shot. Okay, so this is how we do it. Hands back, set the club up, and now you've got a chance to get that ball out onto the green and have a good result. When I see golfers go to a putting green, which really isn't often enough, here's what I see. They'll drop 3 balls down on the green, won't line the putt up, maybe 8-10 feet away, putt, miss one over there, miss again. Well, what have they done? They've practiced missing. You know, they haven't really taken their time, missed 3 putts in a row, then they go to another hole, do the same thing. Well, that's not very good practice. Right before you tee off, you're going to have negative thoughts. You missed all your putts. Maybe you make 1 out of 3, but mostly you're missing putts. So instead of that, what I'd like you to get from this section of the program is a practice plan. When you go to the putting green, I'd like you to work on your lag putting, your short putting, and use some practice drills that are effective. This does a couple of things. 1, it makes your time productive, and 2, it makes the putting a lot more fun. So when we get into the drills, let's try to have some fun and get something really accomplished with your putting. To be a good putter, you need to do a few things very well. Of course, setup being one key fundamental. Now everybody sets up a little bit different, and this is a drill called the ball drop drill that I've used with quite a few great players, like Brad Faxon, one of the greatest putters of all time, Christy Kerr on the LPGA Tour, and also Lenny Matisse, who won the World Putting Championship. And what you do is take a second ball, get into your setup, and you simply put this on the bridge of your nose, right here, and then let the ball drop. And it's going to hit somewhere on your putter. Now that time, it hit just slightly inside of the line that the golf ball is on. Now a lot of people are going to want to drop this ball exactly on the line, and that's kind of the old idea of putting your eyes right on the target line. That's very good, but in fact quite a few great putters have their eyes slightly inside. like Brad Faxon. So when he dropped the golf ball, he wants it to be about 2 inches inside the line. The key is you do this the same way each time and find out where this golf ball should land. Let me talk about a few places where it shouldn't land. One would be if you were leaning out too far and your eyes are outside the target line. I almost never see a good putter with their eyes outside. Another thing I don't see is where the heads is in front of the ball, so if you drop the ball, you drop it in front of the golf ball. Jack Nicklaus, for example, if he dropped it, his eyes were very much behind the ball. Also Tiger Woods, because they kind of like to look down their line. So use the ball drop drill to be consistent. Most of you will have this ball drop and land right on the back of the putter head. But do this week after week, and pretty soon you'll be setting up the same way every time. We're going to go with a little pressure putting game here. It's a line drill for putting. And what you do is you start with a ball about 1 foot from the hole. This is going to be pretty easy making this first one. Then the second one's 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet here, but you can continue on to 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet. And the idea here is a couple things. One, on the short putt, when you putt this ball, you go through and you can see if your putter goes right to the hole. So that's really good on your little short putt. It's not going to be too tough to make, but you can see if you swing the putter to the left or swing it out to the right. So that's why it's good to start real close. Knock the ball right in the center of the hole. Then you drop back a foot. Now you putt this one. Then you drop back again to the third ball, the fourth ball, the fifth ball. And right here I have 5 balls down. Now if I miss at any point, I start over and go back and do the drill. Now, once you do that, you can add a 6th ball, a 7th ball, an 8th ball. This is a drill that Lenny Matisse has used for many, many years on the PGA Tour. It's one of his favorite drills, and he'll just go on back and he'll see how far he can go back. And he's gone back quite a ways. I think he's gone back to about 15 or 16 feet. I don't expect you to do that, but I would expect you to try to be able to go 5 balls back to 5 feet. May take you 10, 15, 20 minutes to get this drill done, but it will train you to do a lot of good things. You'll be hitting all the putts on the same line. That's good because you can see that ball going in the hole, and you just drop right back, and see if you can do 5 in a row. When you put this putter in your hand, if you tend to be a little robotic, tense, or you're not making many putts, here's one of the greatest putting drills you'll ever do. And it's one-arm putting with your dominant side. For me, that's my right hand and right arm. Now, I've watched, again, many great players do this, like Seve Ballesteros and Peter Jacobsen. And what they'll do is hit a lot of putts from 30 to 40 to 50 feet with just one hand and get your stroke just going naturally. You don't try and steer it. You'll find that you start hitting the ball very solid, and you'll have a super roll on the golf ball. And I'd like to see you hit, this says 12 balls here, a dozen balls. You can hit 20, 30, 40 balls out 30 feet and then turn around and hit them back. It's a great drill to do for 20 or 30 minutes. You can also just putt around the putting clock, putting 20, 30, 40-foot putts without finishing, but just try to get the right distance. Now let me tell you what this drill does. It really frees you up. It gives you a natural stroke. It feels so bad to try to keep the putter square to square going through. Instead, it's going to give you a natural arc stroke where the putter swings on a slight arc. And also, if you're a person that can't release the putter, if you hang on and block, this gives you a total release. So let me show you what I mean by that. When I stroke through, when I finish, the putter comes well off the ground and the toe of the putter releases over. It's a drill that you need a little repetitions with. You need to do it for 20 or 30 minutes, but you'll be amazed at what this can do to get out that tenseness, to stop being a robot when you putt, and to really free your stroke up, and you'll make a lot more putts. The running start drill. This is something I actually learned from Brad Faxon, who's a very good friend of mine, stayed at my house many times, and somebody I worked with for a long time on the PGA Tour. Now, Brad is regarded as one of the great putters of all time, and he did a lot of great things in putting, but one thing that he did most people do not know, and it's called the running start. And what he would do is Once he set up, he would look at the hole, and then as he tracked his eyes back down the line, as his eyes came back, he would just take the club away with his eyes. Now, Davis Love also did this. Both of them worked with Bob Rotella, and Bob worked on them with the psychology and the mental part of the game, and this gave them kind of a running start and made their strokes a lot smoother. An offshoot of this drill is just to actually look at the target when you practice putt. So you look at the target and practice putt. I'll do that one right here. You just look at it and stroke the putt. And it's a great drill to get you away from thinking about your stroke too much. The other one, the running start drill, you might want to try this yourself. Look down your target, have your eyes come back. As your eyes come back, I'm going to take the putter head away. So I'm set, look down my target, track my eyes back, and then take it away and roll my putt. And either one of those things could really help you kind of get away from exactly what you're doing with the putter and free up your mind, and you'll make a lot more putts. When I have a student come to our golf school and they tell me they're having trouble with their short putts, I often have them use the left arm only drill. And what this drill does is it kind of trains your lead side. For me, I'm right-handed, so my left side is the lead side of my putting, and I want that to go straight through to the target. This is a particularly great drill for short putting. Now, I've watched John Daly for many years practice this drill. He does it before every round and sometimes after the round when he practices. So it's a wonderful drill for training the left side. So you line up, I'm out here at about 5 feet, and roll that ball. And it'll feel a little awkward at first if you haven't tried it, but you just roll some putts, and in short order you start to feel some strength in your left wrist and your left arm. When you go back to putting your right hand on the grip, you'll have a lot more support, but you'll still feel that great sensation from the drill. You'll feel a firm left hand, left wrist, left arm. That will guide the putter straight through to the target, and I'm almost sure you'll make all of your short putts. I went to college at the University of Houston in Texas, along with a lot of other really top players who went through there. Guys like Freddie Couples and Steve Elkington and John Mahaffey, Bruce Litsky, Bill Rogers, and on and on and on. And I bring that up because we all had the opportunity to spend time with Jackie Burke, a Masters champion and PGA champion, and considered in America to be maybe the greatest putting teacher in the world. Jackie has helped so many people, including Jack Nicklaus, and more recently, Phil Mickelson. And he taught Mickelson this drill. It's the circle drill, and what you do here is you measure out 3 feet. And you just take your putter and measure it out and put the ball behind your grip right there. Most putters are 35, 36 inches long, and that will give you the 3-foot putt. Now the idea here is to go around and make, maybe at the beginning, 10 or 20 in a row. Now when you get, let's say you're trying to make 20 in a row. When you get out to 18, 19, 20, puts a little pressure on you, because if you miss, you have to go back and start over again. And you might work up to 50 in a row. Well, Mickelson makes 100 in a row. Now when you get to 92, 93, 94, working your way up there, you start to feel a little heat because it's a lot of time. You got to go back and set these balls up each time, and it puts pressure on you. That's the beauty of this drill. It's a performance drill. It makes it much more like competitive golf. So it's good for all types of putts. Some putts are going to be right to left, some will be left to right, some will be straight in. But the idea here is you start out, knock these putts in, and you'll even see Phil Mickelson now on his pre-shot routine. He stands over to the side here and he putts one just like he's doing the drill, and then he walks over and hits the next putt in the hole. Any of you that watched Mickelson winning the Masters of the PGA see that he has done that. And he just pretends like he's doing his little drill. It's a phenomenal drill for competitive practice and putting pressure on yourself, making all types of short putts. You'll be a lot better short putter if you'll do this drill. You might wonder what I'm doing with a Coke can stuck in between my arms right here. Actually, I'm copying a drill that I've watched Paula Kramer do, one of the great young players on the LPGA Tour. And what it does is takes your hands out of the stroke, and you'll really start to feel your shoulders controlling the stroke. It gives me a feeling of having some pressure between my left forearm and my right forearm. Kind of keeps everything together. Now I think this drill works best from 10 to 15 to 20 feet. So you'll roll some balls out here, and it gives you a tremendous sensation of having everything staying together. Definitely a no hands feeling. Now, Paula will use this, as I said, before she goes out, and then I think she sort of visualizes or feels that can right between her arms when she strokes and makes all those pressure putts. And what you'll feel is much more shoulders and arms as you stroke the ball. And you'll start to understand what the pros mean when they say they use a shoulders stroke and no hands. This drill will do it for you. The pressure putting drill. Ever had a money putt and missed it? This is a phenomenal competitive drill right here, and it can be done in various ways. The way I'm doing it right now is from 3 feet, 4 feet, and 5 feet. So 3, 4, 5 foot drill. And I've put more balls at the 3 foot range, half at the 4 foot range, and then just one ball at 5 feet. But what I have to do here is make 6 putts from 3 feet. Once I've accomplished that, I move back, and now I only have to make 3 putts from 4 feet. And then I move back to 5 feet, and all I have to do is make this putt, and I'm done. The deal is, though, if you miss any putt, you start over again. Now you can move this back a little bit more or add 2 balls at the end, but it puts pressure on you to get finished through the drill. Now, again, you can do this different ways and even a little further lengths. So you start in here at 3 feet, make those, then you drop back to 4 feet. And now after I've made all my putts, I'm back here at 5 feet. Now I've got this putt to go home. So there's going to be more pressure here on this deal. So there, I got it in, I'm done. I get to go home. Now, if I miss any time, got to start over. Wonderful drill for working on your inside feelings when you need to have a putt to go in to win some cash. This is called the putting gate drill. It's a real old drill, and it's also a very simple drill, but it's very effective. In fact, it's so effective that it's a drill I've watched Tiger Woods do the last few years quite a bit. He practices this often. And what you do is just take 2 tees and you put them so your putter will just go through. Now Tiger puts them so the putter barely goes through. I've got a little bit of room right here. You can make yours slightly wider than this when you first start. But what you want to do is make yourself stroke right through the gate. So if you find that you do this and you nip this tee out here, you know you're looping out or moving your body, or if you tend to come back in here and pull in, you'll be hitting a lot of putts on the toe. So we're looking for square contact and a good putting path. So again, a very simple drill, but very effective. Right through the gate. Now do that drill, you'll get good contact, makes you focus, makes you concentrate a lot harder instead of just mindlessly hitting some putts. You bring that gate in kind of close there, and it's pretty tough. You can make this as difficult as you want, but it's a great drill for grooving more of an online stroke, and certainly for hitting the center of the putter, which is a huge fundamental to making putts. I'm often asked, how do I learn feel? Or how do you teach feel? Well, it can be a difficult thing. Some people are obviously born with more feel than others, but it can be learned. And you do it by experimenting and experience, by watching what your fellow players are doing, watching good. Here's a great drill I learned from Bob Toski, the great player and great teacher. It's a great drill for short putting, and it really builds in resistance and a square club face at impact. What you do is put 2 tees into the ground, equal distance apart, so when the putter comes through, it will stop and hit both tees at the same time for whatever target you're going at. I'm going at the hole here, but you can set this up to go at a tee or anything else that you might want to hit at. Now, this does a couple of things for you. Let me hit a putt here just to show you how this works. And you aim your putter, you're going to hit both tees. Now what that does, it gives you a real feeling of resistance in your left hand and your left wrist and left arm. You really hit and hold. You'll also notice that the ball kind of really accelerates. It's a great feeling and it makes you accelerate the putter through. So many amateurs will go through and actually slow down with a long stroke. Exactly what you don't want. The great putters have a hit and resist type of action on these short putts. They give it a good solid wrap, and it's such a better way to hit your short putts. Do this drill, and I think you'll get some pretty good results. This drill is called the watchdog drill, and the reason is we're not going to look at the golf ball. We're going to watch out to the area where we're hitting the golf ball. Now, the key to this drill is trust, and we're just going to swing and do a practice swing and just get a little brush action going right there. And it's surprising how wonderful this drill allows you to have a feel for the swing and good tempo. So I line up, kind of look out at my spot, boom, chip, pull up another one, chip, pull up another one. And boy, those balls start to end up really close together, not even looking at the golf ball. What it stops me from doing is any kind of dropping, any kind of hit action. It's just rhythm and timing. Tremendous drill. One of my favorite drills when I'm working with someone on their putting is to check them on their green reading. And we use the break point drill to show them how much a putt might break. Now, for this example, I'm going to put this ball to this ball down here. Now, a straight putt, if I putted straight at this golf ball, my ball would end up way down here, maybe 6, 7, 8 feet below the hole. So the break point, or where I'm trying to putt to, is this ball right here, which shows you how far this break really is. And it's usually maybe twice as much as what most golfers would think. So you set up a big break situation. You can putt just to a ball or to a hole, and you're going to have these kind of situations often on the golf course. So what am I doing here? Really, I'm hitting a straight putt to the first golf ball, and then letting the green and the break and the slope take the ball the rest of the way. So I'm aiming right there, just stroking my ball, and then it's going to break and roll down and come very close to my target. Now, as you can see, that ball broke 7 or 8 feet, and I actually played a straight putt to the break point. Now, what this drill does is really help you with your green reading. So when you face one of those big sweepers, even on a putt of this distance, only a 15-foot putt, you may be playing 7 or 8 feet of break. But if you practice this, you'll be a lot better on the golf course. Spend more time on that short game. It's going to lower your scores.
I've been using Jim's drills for the last 3 years, and they have just been fantastic. Every time, I need to go back to something, I go right to those drills and they help me every time.
I find that it's just they work at a few little things at a time. They don't try to throw too much at you at once. And so it becomes very simple to just go practice those things on your own and then come back and see a marked improvement already within 2 weeks. You can see a big improvement because they just make little subtle changes. They don't try to change everything at once. And it's been great.
It's such a good thing to be able to go back and look at the same drills you've done before and just start from the very beginning if you have a problem.
A lot of amateur golfers' bunker game is probably one of your biggest nemesis. And it's probably hindered me from being able to improve. And it's probably my bunker game now has improved so much that I've been able to shave 3 or 4 strokes right off my game. The DVDs are just as good as the in-person. He makes them so simple and just so lifelike that you just watch those DVDs, you can go out and practice those drills, even if you don't have the time to take a lesson or if you're not available to a Jim McLean school. If you have that DVD, it's just like having him there.
It's amazing. It covers absolutely everything from short game, pitching, iron shots, driving. It really is, and you'll absolutely love this DVD.
Hi, I'm Jim McLean. As a teacher, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of using drills. They are without a doubt the best tools you can use to improve your game. Drills are great for learning because they isolate your weaknesses. Plus, they teach you the feel of good positions. That's strong medicine. And if you want to keep up with the latest drills, and believe me, they change all the time, subscribe to Golf Digest. You'll get the best instruction available month after month. It's really a wonderful way to get better and enjoy the game more. The best teachers in the game, teaching you the best drills. That's Golf Digest.
They're fun, they're affordable, they're world-class. They're open to the public and owned by the PGA of America. PGA Village in Port St. Lucie offers a trio of world-class golf facilities. At PGA Golf Club, enjoy 54 holes of championship golf designed by legends Pete Dye and Tom Fazio. Call 1-800-800-GOLF or visit PGAVillage.com.
PGA Village, home to the pros, open to the public, and celebrating our 10th anniversary.
The primary cause of 3-putting is lack of distance control. So we try to invent lag drills that help our students improve their touch and feel. One of them is the ladder drill. It's a pretty simple idea. Here I've just placed 4 balls out in the distance, no particular distance, but quite a ways away. Maybe the first putt is 25 feet. And then I try to hit to those different distances. Now you can lay out shafts, you can lay out 5, 6 shafts or less. It's just getting kind of a ladder, a step as you go out. So I'll knock one out there a long ways, try and get it out to the last ball, and then kind of work my way in. And again, I'm just going for distance here, not anything other than that, because we got a lot of break in this putt. Now I'll go to the second ball. And then to the first ball. I'll play a little more break on this. And we try and get it to go the right distance. So what you're doing is you're trying to get your balls going in a progression. There I went from long to short. You can start short and go to long, but it can work either way. And then you just get a feel for the distance, the quality of your touch and feel. And that will start to reduce your 3 putts. This is called the ladder drill. Give it a try the next time you go to the putting green.